I have 5:30. Do you?
I do.
5:30. Okay. This is a Sunshine Ordinance Task Force Complaint Committee of the City and County of San Francisco. We are convening in hearing room 408 at City Hall. This is a regular meeting, June 20th, beginning at 5:30 p.m. Remote access and/or in-person participation. The Sunshine Ordinance Task Force and its committees convene hybrid meetings that allow in-person attendance, in-person public comment, remote access for petitioners and respondents, and remote public comment via teleconference, via WebEx. The WebEx remote link is bit.ly/44s0xgs. Then the password is Sunshine. The telephone call-in number is 415-655-0001. The meeting ID is 259360333332##. If you wish to speak, please press *3. Chair Wolf, would you like to read meeting decorum?
I will be happy to read it. Meeting decorum. Any member of the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force or its committees may call for decorum due to the disorderly conduct of meeting participants. Persons who engage in threatening and/or menacing behavior may be asked to leave. Please call the first item.
Item number 1, call to order, roll call, and agenda changes. Let's begin with roll call. Member Wolf.
Here.
Member Wolf present. Member Stein. Member Stein present. Chair Schmidt is absent. Are either of you aware of any agenda changes? I am not.
Not either.
There's just that issue of
A microphone, please.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so there's just the issue of whether we would need a continuance or have a continuance for case 23029, but do we handle that now or do we?
We can certainly mention it now.
I feel like if the petitioner is here and he does agree to a continuance, then we could save him some time in this meeting.
For which item is this?
It's for case 23029, Panacea versus Mayor's Office of Innovation.
I don't have it on my agenda.
Oh,
that was
that's
removed from the agenda.
Oh, it was already removed. Okay.
Yes, it was
All right.
last week. I was wondering what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Great. I just took a quick note of it because I saw the email today.
Yeah,
some reason.
last week it was removed.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, just for the record, this is Member Wolf. I'll be chairing the meeting tonight in Chair Schmidt's stead. Well, he's out of town.
Okay. Let's see.
Call the next item.
Hang on a second. Item number 2, approval of the April 18, 2023 Complaint Committee meeting minutes. Does anybody have any changes?
Certainly don't. I wasn't there for that meeting.
Yeah, so this is Member Stein. I think on P3, item 4, there was a superfluous phrase. Hold on, I'm just trying to open that. So on item 4, I think it's the 4th line. It says by issuing an illegal written demand for the mayor's phone number in a public record, and by making an illegal written demand not to disclose the mayor's telephone number. I'm not sure that we need by issuing an illegal written demand.
Are you looking at the April 18 Complaint Committee minutes?
Am I not?
Because item 4 is not that. Item 4 is file number 21009.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Oh, look, that's what you're looking at?
Yeah, on
Okay.
line 4 of that.
Where it says 6254.21, that line?
Yes.
Okay.
It says by issuing an illegal written demand for the mayor's phone number in a public record, and by making an illegal written demand not to disclose the mayor's telephone number, I think that's really the same, that was the same thing. I would just remove by issuing an illegal written demand for the mayor's phone number in a public record.
Okay.
And then on P6, item 8, just to be a tiny bit more clear. Oh gosh, where is that? Okay. Right before the last paragraph that starts with action that was taken, the paragraph starting Laura Bush, on the third line, it says Ms. Bush stated that the records Mr. Kramer is requesting would require that new documents be created and analysis. I would get rid of and analysis and say that new documents be created with new analysis or using new analysis, just to be clear on what we were talking about there.
Okay. Chair Wolf, do you have any changes that you want to make?
I don't, and I was at that meeting, but I arrived late.
Okay. Were those your only changes?
Yeah, those are my only changes.
Okay.
So I can make a motion to approve the minutes with those changes.
Second. Any public comment? See, Victor has joined us.
Okay. Are there any members of the public who would like to make public comment on item number 2? Please use the *3 feature to be added to the queue or the raise hand option in the app. Okay, I'm seeing no hands raised.
Okay, great. Let's move to a vote. When you're ready, Cheryl.
Are we ready for the next item?
No, we're ready for a vote.
I'm sorry. Member Stein.
Aye.
Member Stein, aye. Chair Wolf.
Aye.
Chair Wolf, aye. Member Schmidt, absent.
Okay, please call next time. Ayes have it.
Item number 3, public comment. Members of the public may address the committee on matters that are within the committee's jurisdiction, but not on today's agenda.
As a reminder for members of the public that would like to make public comment to this item, in the WebEx app, you may press raise hand, or if you're calling by phone, please dial *3 to be added to the speaker queue. Okay, Chair Stein, we have 3 call-in participants with 0 in the queue to speak.
Okay. Good. We'll close public comment and move to the next item. Please call item number 4.
Item number 4, file number 21040, complaint filed by Anonymous against Dennis Herrera for allegedly violating Administrative Code Section 6721D as in dog by failing to order the custodians of record to comply with the records request, and 67.34 for failing to discharge duties under the Sunshine Ordinance as an elected official.
Okay, do we have both parties present?
The respondent is present. The petitioner is anonymous. He was given timely notice of this hearing, and I didn't hear that he wasn't going to be able to make it.
Okay.
Pardon the interruption, Chair Stein. If
Sure.
If the respondent is in the call-in list, please use *3 to identify yourself, so I may unmute you. Anonymous, if you are one of the 3 call-in members, please dial *3 so that you may be unmuted. There's no response.
Thank you very much. Okay, how shall we dispose of this? Shall we continue? Or shall we close it and allow them? Can we do that in committee?
Committee, yes, we do close items per complaint procedure section 7B.
Okay.
We can do that with this matter if that's what you choose.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to say, I think this is maybe the 3rd case that we've had from this same anonymous where even though they didn't specifically tell us to drop the cases, they no longer seem to be appearing. I don't know if that influences what we do here, but I just wanted to mention that.
Well, let me ask this. Is there interest in moving this forward?
I will tell you that Matthew knows that I've made like 3 attempts to get in touch with Anonymous to see if he still wants to keep some of his cases active, and I have gotten no response. But as you are aware, we cannot close a case unless 6 months have lapsed. And then we once again get in touch with the party to let them know that per our complaint procedures, we will be closing their case unless we hear for otherwise. So I do that.
Cheryl, sorry, you said 6 months. It's not 60 days.
60 days if a person has missed a hearing. But if the case has been inactive for 6 months, that's when we send out a notice to the party saying, we're going to close your case.
How do we know a case is inactive? What is?
If I haven't heard from this person, I mean, I have people that I don't hear from that I regularly send this email to, and then it's, oh yeah, sure, keep it open, and then nothing. So
Okay.
It's something we do.
I mean, I think I would be in favor of tabling it for 60 days and then closing it automatically if there's no request to reopen the file. I think the same issue has been taken up in other cases, so it's not that the issue will be orphaned. And I'm also wondering if we can consider just writing a notice to this anonymous listing all the cases that we have still outstanding and saying that if we don't hear anything in 6 months, we're going to close all of these, because it's, you know, such a use of resources for everybody to read these and show up for these. And if the petitioner is no longer acting on them, I think we should try to clear these cases.
Okay. I think it's a good idea, but I don't know. It's not the item before us.
No, so but I don't know exactly how to bring that up, because
I think it would be worthwhile to bring it up at the task force level because we have multiple committees.
Okay. All right, I'll do that.
Okay.
So I would make a motion to table this for 60 days and then close it if no request to reopen the file is made.
Okay.
Table for 60 days and what?
Actually, I think we should just invoke our procedure 7B because it's actually the correct verbiage is filed and dismissed without prejudice.
Okay, I'll withdraw my motion if you want to make the motion in the correct words.
Okay, so I will move this item under our complaint procedure section C 7B to be filed and dismissed without prejudice, and that the petitioner be notified of the provisions of that paragraph.
I'll second that.
Public comment? Ms. Cabrera?
For any members that would like to make public comment on item number 4, please dial *3 or use the raised hand feature in the app. We currently have 3 listeners with 0 in the speaking queue.
Okay, public comment is closed. I thank you to the respondent for appearing. If there are no other items for the parties, they are free to leave. Let's call the next item.
Item number 5, file number 22132, complaint filed by Michael Petrellis against Supervisor Ashraf Safai, Board of Supervisors, for allegedly violating Administrative Code Section 67.29-5 by failing to respond to a request for Proposition G calendar in a timely and/or complete manner.
Are the parties present?
Mr. Petrellis, if you have joined us via the call-in option, please dial *3 so that I may identify and unmute you. Chair Wolf, there's no response.
Okay, thank you. Is the respondent present?
Are any?
Same call for the respondent if they're calling in.
It doesn't appear that there's anybody from Supervisor Safai's office in the audience here.
Okay. Member Stein? Same call?
Could we move items 5 and 6 to after item 8, just in case the petitioner shows up subsequently, and then
Sure.
subject these to C7B after?
Sure.
Okay. So
Sure,
I would
let's-
make a motion to move case 5 and 6, which is 22132 and 22133, to after item 8.
Okay, so that would make them items number 7 and 8. And the others will move up.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay.
Ms. Cabrera, any public comment?
Members of the public that have joined us via call-in, if you'd like to make a comment, please dial *3 to be added to the speaker queue, or if you're using the WebEx app, please press the raise hand feature. We currently have 2 listeners and 0 in the speaking queue.
Okay, thank you very much. And let's take a vote. Ms. Leger.
Actually, can I just ask Cheryl too, did you get any confirmation from Mr. Petrellis, or?
I usually get an email, but Mr. Petrellis didn't contact me at all.
Just
And
wondered.
when he appears, it's usually by phone.
Okay.
So, okay.
Okay, let's call the roll.
Member Stein?
Aye.
Member Stein, aye. Chair Wolf?
Aye.
Chair Wolf, aye. Member Chair Schmidt, absent. Okay. Moved by Member Stein, seconded by Chair Wolf to move cases 5 and 6, numbers 22132 and 22133 after item 8.
Okay, let's call next time. That'd be file number 221.
Item number 7, file number 22139, complaint filed by Anonymous against Dennis Herrera, Ron Flynn, Mayara Ruski Augusto Sa, and the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission for allegedly violating Administrative Code Section 6725 by failing to respond to an immediate disclosure request in a timely and or complete manner.
Hey, are the parties present? Ms. Cabrera, please open the phone. See if any-
Mayara Sa from PUC.
Okay. This is real.
Are there
There's-
any?
Go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Calling to see if the complainant filer anonymous has joined us. If you are one of the two call-in members, please dial *3 so that I may identify and unmute you for this case. That is *3 to raise your hand to identify you as a participant of this case and to be unmuted. There's no response.
Okay, thank you. Member Stein, what do you think?
I'm wondering first, is this the same anonymous as the early?
No, it is
No, it's a different. Okay.
different.
I think we should invoke complaint procedure C7B to file and dismiss the case without prejudice and to notify the petitioner of the provisions of that paragraph if we want to go that way.
Sounds good to me. I'll second that. Any public comment?
Are there any members of the public who would like to make public comment on item number 7? Please dial *3 to be added to the speaker queue. We currently have 2 listeners.
Cheryl.
Someone just walked.
Chair Wolf,
Just make
we
sure
do
that-
not have any speakers to this item.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
Are we moving forward?
There was no public comment.
No public comment. Please call the roll.
Thank you.
Aye.
I can't hear you.
Aye.
Member Stein, aye.
There you go. I can't hear. Sure.
Chair Wolf?
Aye.
Chair Wolf, aye. Member Schmidt, absent. Moved by Member Stein, seconded by Chair Wolf to invoke complaint procedure 7B and notify the petitioner of the closure of this case.
Thank you. Let's go to the next item, file number 230223.
Chair Wolf, the petitioner just stepped into the room. I think he needs a minute to collect himself. So if you don't mind waiting, and we'll at the same time be able to find out if we have a representative from the police department.
Okay.
Administrator Stephanie, can you tell us if somebody from the police department is ready to be heard?
Thank you. If you are joining us today to represent the police department or to participate in the hearing for file number 23023, please dial *3 to identify yourself and to be unmuted. We had 1 caller drop off. We were back to 3 and 1 just dropped off. And currently there's 0 participants identifying themselves.
Okay. All right. Shall we proceed without the respondent? Stein, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. What do you think? I mean, usually the respondent is here. This is a respondent that usually does show up. So I'm just wondering.
I didn't get any email.
I'm wondering if they're thinking that this is going to happen much later.
That
Because
could be.
we've never had so many no-shows. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, I absolutely understand. Yeah. Well, the petitioner's here. We could go ahead.
We can move it ahead.
Okay, let's just move it ahead.
This is only for jurisdiction.
Okay, let's do it then.
Okay. Is the petitioner ready?
So are you ready?
I'm sorry, I think I sent you this by email, but it seems that you could not read it. I received this a couple of days ago, and I went, sorry. Filter. This is the letter I received. Yeah.
We sent those to you, but I couldn't read the zero stuff you said.
Okay. Sorry, but these are not in the packet officially, right?
Pardon me?
But we can include them in the packet for the full task force.
Well, if you make, because I received those on Friday and Saturday, and I went to talk to them, and it was very hard. I still didn't get what I request. That was the conversation I had with the non.
It's your comment for the case?
I was trying to answer her.
Okay,
I understand you got these very recently, right?
I got them.
Oh, sorry, you got them.
You
There's
got-
not time to include them in the packet.
Well, the version I had was very light, so it was difficult to Xerox and scan.
Okay. So I'm probably not going to look at these right now because my other task force member doesn't have them and the public
I
hasn't seen them, but
understand.
we can put them in the packet.
I would
We should
appreciate
put
it.
them in the packet
Thank you so much.
for the full task.
Okay.
Oh, here's also, sorry, the cover page.
So, Ms. where's the-
So let me just confer with Member Stein for a moment on our complaint procedure, C6 under documentation. It specifically speaks to the task force and not to committees with regards to the submission of documentation. And it provides equal footing for the respondent and the complainant petition.
Okay. I just wanted to let you both know, the woman who just left the room, Ms. Augusto Sa, showed me text on her phone that Michael Petrellis is trying to join the meeting, but he's not having success. So that's why we didn't hear from him. I thought that might be it.
Okay, so Mr. Petrellis is not here due to technical difficulties.
I guess.
And I'm not sure, I mean, we can hear this case and then hopefully he'll be able to join.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So go forward with this.
Yes. Okay, so back to this under just noting that under our procedures, section C6 under documentation, it provides equal footing. The provision provides equal footing for both parties, which requires 5 days prior to the hearing, but it doesn't specify for committees, it's just for the task force. Question is what has been the practice so far as submission of documents late?
I mean, in this committee, we have sometimes asked people to add documents to their files if the files are going to the full task force because they're not as complete as they could be. But to my knowledge, we have not looked at documents that have been sort of handed to us on the spot that the public has not been able to see, or in this case, for instance, like another member of the committee is not able to see. So I think our practice is to not look at them, but to invite them to be included in the full packet.
Okay.
Yes.
So Cheryl, with the copies that you received, when did you receive them?
Before the packet was uploaded, as I was reviewing materials, I saw how faded it was, and I tried to contact the petitioner for a better copy. didn't hear from him, and he's just handed me a better copy today, right, a few minutes ago.
Okay. I think I think we should move ahead, but if the documents need to be referred to in order for us to come to some decision, then I'm gonna move to continue the item until.
Well, I can summarize for you. I did not really read them, but I could see by just a brief glance at them that it was documentation provided by the Department of Emergency Management, which was one of the agencies that SFPD referred the petitioner to get some of the information that he was seeking. That's what those documents were. Just a couple of things faxed from the DEM.
Okay, I'm just, well, likewise, I hear you, I got that. But if those documents are pertinent to our being able to make a decision today, and I'm not able to see them, and our policy is, our complaint procedure, well, that would be only for the task force, that the opposing party would have a say in the matter. So, okay, let's move ahead and we'll take it step by step here.
May I say something?
No, let's move ahead. So let's call the petitioner, Mr. Rivero. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Bruce,
Pardon me?
How much time do you want to allot?
Sorry.
How much time do you want to allot for speaking?
What's our regular amount? We're not going to change it.
Dean usually gives 5 minutes.
Okay. It's 5 minutes.
Pardon me, through the chair. Title of
Yes.
this item has not been read into the record. If we can please read that in.
Yes. Please call the item 22139. I'm sorry, wrong one.
It's item number 8. File number 23023.
Correct. Please read it.
Yeah, complaint filed by Jorge Rivero against the police department for allegedly violating Administrative Code Section 6725 by failing to respond to an immediate disclosure request in a timely and or complete manner.
Thank you very much. Mr. Rivero, you have 5 minutes for your presentation.
Yeah, thank you, sir. The two documents I brought today, is because I request a CAD from the police, and actually I request the conversation I have on December 2nd with the non-emergency number. So I filed the paperwork, and I thought I did it right, but I wait, and I received a letter recently, and I saying that I never pick up the paperwork. Well, I never received an email from them. I went to pick up something else, another CAD, and they never gave me this. Now, when you review the paperwork, I asked for, I went to Mission Police Station to report an incident in December 2nd. I give my initial report statement to Officer Rosie Olson. She told me that the next step was calling the non-emergency number and a request to have SFAPD to come to my apartment. I made the phone call around 12:15 p.m. I need a transcript of that phone call. Thanks. That was my initial request. So after waiting a long time, they said that they couldn't find it, that they sent me a screenshot of the database, and they sent me some codes, and so I went to talk to them on Friday. In the database screen, it says here December 2nd, 12:17, and they said they could not find it. I mean, it's hard to believe that. So I went on Friday and I spoke with somebody, with a police officer or whatever it is, a deputy, and so I had to file the request again. And And this time they sent me the card, but they didn't send me one request. There was a transcript of the conversation I have with that non-emergency number. So this time somebody very upset came from the 1011 Turk telling me that I got what I asked. And I said, well, that's not true, because my first request, I was requesting the transcript. So, well, you need to give us your phone numbers. And, okay. She said with the phone number, they're going to do a search and let's see if they can find a conversation. But this morning I came from the DA office, and finally I spoke with Molly Brown, who is the detective who called me that day, and she was very rude, and she kicked me out pretty much from the office. I have been requesting the information about those phone calls. She made a phone call on November 23rd. She made a phone call. And also, when I fell from the ladder, I make a phone call to her, and I left a message saying that I believe there are microphones in my house. She never returned my phone calls. So today I will try to, they told me that 1011 Turk, they don't have any records of those phone calls, that I need to go to the DDA office. And finally, I met Molly Brown. Again, she kicked me out pretty much. She said that she cannot help me to get that information, that she didn't record a conversation, and that's about it, sir. And ma'am, the situation is that something happened in my house. The police refused to investigate it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Is the petitioner present?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, the respondent.
Excuse me. What?
He was
Thank you,
asking
Chair
the
Wolf.
respondent, see if the respondent was present. We've heard from you. We need to hear from the other side.
Ms. Cabrera, please check the phones. I see Lieutenant Bill Toomey.
Yes, please. If you are here as the respondent to file number 23023, please dial *3 to be unmuted. I also see Lieutenant Bill Toomey, but they have not requested to be unmuted. And I had unmuted it earlier and there was no response.
Sorry, Lieutenant what?
Please wait until we call on you again to speak. This is procedural right now. Okay. All right. So if we don't have a petitioner, hold on.
We have the petition.
Yeah, the petition.
We don't have the.
Mr. Petrellis is calling me. Hello, this is Bruce. Yes. We don't see it being raised. Are you called in? Are you called in by phone? Okay. 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 Fair enough. Fair enough. Try calling in again, and I'll stop the meeting and try to deal with that. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Supposedly, Mr. Petrellis, I'm just going to stop the meeting for a second. Having some technical issues. Mr. Petrellis has called in a couple of times. He's tried to raise his hand. That function seems not to be working. So I'm a little concerned that Lieutenant Toomey is trying to do the same thing, experiencing the same issue. Can you just unmute all the everybody in the attendees? Just unmute them, and that way we can hear them. Okay.
Yes,
Here,
this
both
is Lieutenant
callers are
Toomey.
muted.
Okay.
Hey.
Are you the respondent for this item, Lieutenant Toomey?
Yes, I am, Chair Wolf.
Okay, great.
And you are correct. The phone call-in is having a difficulty. I've raised and lowered my hand a number of times, and I don't believe that on your folks' side that you can see that hand raising and lowering.
Thank you for that. I will look into that while this case is going.
Okay, and can you unmute the other number? Yes. Who's on that other call? It starts with 41599. Are you?
Hi, this is Michael Petrellis calling in. I hope you can hear me. I am really frustrated that I have not been recognized by hitting *3.
Yes, we're aware of the technical issue. Just please stand by now that we know who you are. We'll just manually unmute you when your item comes up.
And we should just mention to Mr. Petrellis that because we didn't know you were here, we just moved your item till after the current item that we're on. Both of your cases.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, let's continue. Okay, Lieutenant Toomey, you are the respondent for this item. It is your turn for presentation. You have 5 minutes. Please wait for Ms. Leger.
Lieutenant Toomey, you ready to begin speaking?
I am.
Go ahead.
The San Francisco Police Department received a request on December 21st, 2022 from the complainant. The request was provided 3 individual numbers. We did our research and determined that 2 of the 3 numbers were computer-aided dispatch numbers. And the San Francisco Police Department provided the complainant with the information on how those documents could be retrieved from the San Francisco Department of Emergency Management. On the 25th of January, the redacted copy of the one police report that we did have in our possession was provided to the complainant. We then started receiving correspondence from the complainant stating that there were incidents in his home. And then we received information that he wanted transcripts of phone conversations that he had with the district attorney's office. We continually corresponded with the complainant and advised them to contact those parties, both the Department of Emergency Management for the CAD information, as well as the district attorney's office for any possible recordings of telephone conversations that they have. But we did advise them that we did not have any telephone conversations. As the complainant stated in his presentation to the committee just now, he recognizes, understands that the individual that he was trying to contact with regards to phone conversations, he's had contact with. So as it's seen now, the 3 pieces of information that he requested of the San Francisco Police Department, 1 was provided and 2 were referred to DEM so that he could get those documents. That's all we have with regards to this case.
So that concludes your presentation.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Member Stein, any questions?
Yeah, I have a few questions. So I didn't actually see the original request in the materials that you provided us. Was it in there somewhere and I somehow missed it? The actual request that you made to the SFPD.
I think I submitted to her name, Cheryl, whatever her name is. Yes, I think I did. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see it in the packet. I wasn't sure if it was buried in an email somewhere. but if you have a copy of that request and it's not in the packet, you should definitely put it in the packet if this goes forward to the full task force.
But Lieutenant told me he's right. I mean, he's right what he said, that they provide a few things and they told me to.
Can I just can I ask you a few questions
Sure.
before you go into that? Did you receive the records requested, except for the record of the phone call with CISU, which, you know, the SFPD says they don't have? Did you receive the other records requested from the SFPD?
I received another. I received another CAD report that I request. Yes, I did.
But that was from the DE, the Department of Emergency Management, correct?
Are you talking about? Sorry, that's 1011 Turk.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah, they told me that the police told me that I should request the CAD information through the management, whatever it is. I did, and a couple of months ago, and they sent me one is here, and the other one that I just give it to you. They said that they notified to me that it was ready to pick up. I request the email. They never sent me an email, and I went on Friday, and it's what I explained to you, that they couldn't find the information. I had to submit a second request, and the second request they give me a CAD information. That in that CAD everything is pretty much is alive, but that's not we're here. And I request the transcript, the conversation I have with a non-emergency number, because the police officer lied. He gave me a wrong CAD number, but he's under investigation for police accountability. Also, I would like to add something. I just came today the meeting with police accountability, and I request to see the report. First, they said yes, you can see it, but now everything is sealed. They don't show me the report or the information of that. Even though I request online that I have the right to see what the police officer did or said, they refuse to give me the information now.
So I just wanted to say, like, in terms of what we can do, we can only look right now at the request that you made to the SFPD. And because I didn't see it in there, but you did talk about it, I just want to make sure I understand what the request was for. So it was for the computer-aided dispatch for a call that you made on December 2nd, 2022. They mentioned that they gave you a police report or an
No, they give me a CAD. What I'm saying is, when you give the instructions, first it says, if you don't have the CAD number, just try to explain what happened. I did. And I request that months ago. And it seems that I had to provide my phone number so they can do a search, or that my phone call to the non-emergency number, they're going to do a search. So the reason is I'm requesting that is because, well, I don't want to say it here. It will show that nobody gave me the CAN number until later. The police officer gave me a CAN number that it was a fake CAN number. So
okay, but I just want to make sure I understand the information that you're looking for. It was transcript of a conversation.
That's right.
That is what you were looking for.
I was looking for that information, that the phone call that the police officer told me, go home, make a phone call to the non-emergency number and tell them that you need somebody to go to your house. That conversation I have with that non-emergency number is important. And
you still don't have that.
I don't have that.
Okay.
And let's see what happens.
Okay.
That was on Saturday or Friday that I had to send a third request. I need to pay $35, and it was Friday, I believe. And
okay.
Let's see what happens. But what has been very difficult for me is that there is accountability. You guys have these meetings regarding police and this and that, but there are police officers who work in the DA office. They are untouchables. You cannot access the data. You cannot access information. You cannot access any phone calls. And that's very, very hard for me to understand. I don't know how is that possible. There is police accountability just for a few.
So,
Somebody else is doing whatever they want, and there is no accountability. That's it. That's how I feel. Today, the first time I met Molly Brown, and she was so upset. Like, I didn't say anything to her. I just went to talk to her. I said, "Do you have the data?" And pretty much she said, "Get out."
okay, so I also have a question for the respondent.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me in what form did you receive this request?
We received, I'm trying to read through it appears as though our initial request came from our online portal. And we did research to find that of the 3 numbers that we received, there were 2 CADs and 1 police report. And
Do you have
those-
a request number for the online portal?
I'm going to review it because it looks like it was.
Is it
there-
government QA? Is that the?
GovQA is the brand portal that we do use. Yes, ma'am. There are
Okay.
3 separate request numbers that were used because it looks like they broke up the 3 request. Each of the 3 requests were broken up because there were 3 separate numbers. I'm not necessarily sure why that occurred, but to get to the root of what was requested and when it was requested, I'm trying to get. Bear with me one moment. I can.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to
Yeah.
know those numbers if they were published so that we could make sure to get this in the packet.
So we have 3 separate what are referred to as R numbers.
Mhm.
The first number is R032-122-322. That was determined to be one of the CAD numbers, and the complainant was advised to contact the Department of Emergency Management. The second R number, R032726, and then the last 6 numbers are the exact same as what I previously mentioned.
122-322.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That too was determined to be a CAD number, and San Francisco Department of Emergency Management was referred. The last R number was R032725, and then 122-322. That was determined to be a San Francisco Police incident report, which was produced and supplied to the complainant.
Okay. And on what date was that provided?
The request came in December 21st, 2022, and it was provided, pardon me one moment, and I'll get you that date.
And it came in as an IDR?
It
As
did
an
not.
immediate
It did not come in as an immediate. I want to review that, but I don't believe it came in as an immediate disclosure.
But the DEM, I mean, the request for the CAD.
No, they came. It appears as though they came in as a regular public records request.
Okay.
And
sorry, and what date was it provided?
the report was provided. I can kind of work backwards. I apologize. The report was provided on 1/25/23. So there was our delay in that.
And that you acknowledge there was a delay in your response.
Correct.
Okay.
And I have to go into each individual file for the CADs and when we told them of the fact that they would need to contact DEM. Bear with me.
And if you have,
They actually all of the responses came in at were returned to the complainant on January 25th, 2023.
okay. I mean, it would be very, if you have copies that you can print out from the GovQA database or software that show these requests, that would be very helpful in your response packet as well.
I apologize, ma'am. Just kind of learning. This was our first in my tenure as with the legal division, dealing with requests that were merely a police report and not other pertinent documents that we usually meet with the task force about. So in the future, absolutely, we can provide that kind of log or the correspondence that we do have.
Okay, that's all my questions.
Thank you.
All right, I have a few other.
Go ahead.
I have a few other questions. For Mr. Rivero, when you submitted your initial requests for the records or information, did you request it as an immediate disclosure request, an IDR under 6725?
I can recall, sir. I don't know what exactly are you asking me? If I ask the documentation, it was important, I think probably I clicked the box, but I'm not sure if I understood if it's there are two ways to ask information. Are you asking me if there is one way, another way, different ways to ask information?
No. I mean, the complaint is written on the agenda, says that you're filing a complaint against the police department for violating a very specific section of the law, and it's called an immediate disclosure request, and there are very specific rules on how that gets applied.
Now I think I remember. After all this, I think I make a request online to get information about the incident that happened, and I got a reply saying that they cannot disclose that information. The police, something regarding the police officer personal data was there, something like that.
I'm not concerned about that. I'm only asking about the original request that you made.
Can I take a moment just to explain, because I'm not sure, but there's just making a request, and there's also making a request under a special category where you write at the top of the request that this is an immediate disclosure request, that you want to have an answer in one day, and you have to identify it as such.
I don't think.
But you just did a regular request.
I don't think I did, because the paper I got says that we don't expedite anything. That's what I got.
But you didn't use the words immediate disclosure request in your initial request.
I don't think I did that.
It's just a certain category that got mentioned in this case, but it doesn't really affect anything. We can consider still whether information was provided late.
I don't think I did, because like I said, I read instructions and they said that there was not expedite information, and I had to wait. I don't remember clicking any box that so probably not, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
And I agree with you, Member Stein, that we need the original request. I'm a little surprised also, Lieutenant Toomey, that it's not actually in your documents that you submitted either. Usually you would include it.
Correct, Chair. Well, with regards to requests that are made online for police reports, it's a basic form entry, and the system then just says request received. It doesn't actually. We don't do a full printout of that form to maintain in the request. It just says report number, date of request, and then it is assigned.
Let me ask, is there a place to notate that it's an IDR?
It is there for a basic police report. I do not believe we have an IDR because of the knowledge that we will not be able to supply a basic police report within one day. That's an assumption though, because I have not seen the actual, I can't tell you that I've actually gone through the public portal myself. I just know from the backlog of requests for police reports to be able to find a solo police report in one day. We would have to respond if they go to the portal where it says, if you want immediate, you go to the public records portal. And then we respond to IDRs there.
Okay, I would urge you to reread 6725 as to what the requirements are for you to respond. And I'll just say this, that
I appreciate that. I understand where
you
you're
do
going with
not,
that.
you do not have to respond with the document
Right.
by the end of the following business day. You can request a extension of 10 days
Correct.
and then provide any additional on a rolling basis. Okay, so
yeah,
the idea is just to respond to the request by the end of the next business day as to whether you have the records or not. And if you have them and they're easy to get, you can send it to them immediately. If not, you can request an extension.
I can say that if they do make a basic police report request, the system does automatically respond back to them with the information that it's been received and what they should expect with regards to a timeline.
Okay. I'm moving on page 574 on the page itself, or PDF page 7 of 40. You rattled off some numbers that started with an R, and you said that they were the same numbers as the incident report. But
no, I apologize. You might have maybe I didn't explain. The R number is our internal file number, for lack of a better term, for each of the different numbers that the complainant requested on.
Okay. I thought I heard you say that it was the same number as the incident report.
No, if you did, I'm sorry. I don't believe I misspoke, but we might have lost that. That might have been lost in the message.
Okay. All right. And the items that Mr. Rivera was asking for was was 1 incident report and 2 CAD numbers. Is that correct?
He provided 3 numbers.
Okay.
And then our staff had to do a little bit of research to determine that 2 of them were in fact CAD numbers and 1 was a incident report number.
Okay. Are you declaring at any point now whether or disputing any of those documents are public?
No, those 3 documents would be public records.
Okay, great. Thank you. I have nothing further.
This is Member Stein. I just tried to look up the request numbers that you gave me on the government QA database where it says the public records portal, and I am not able to find any requests with those numbers. I'm talking to the respondent, Lieutenant Toomey. Is there some other way I can search for those requests?
I believe you have to be the customer.
Okay.
I believe you have to be the actual requester to reference your own number.
So this is not a public archive, which I thought it was. Okay.
No, this is our internal
Okay.
system to track how at what point each record request is in process.
Okay. So I would just say to Mr. Rivero, if you can go to that place where you made those requests and just access them again, if you have those numbers that Lieutenant Toomey gave us, and put those into your packet as well, that would be, give them to Cheryl Leger. That would be enormously helpful. We don't have access to it, but you should have access to it.
I will, and you will get them shortly. Thanks. And I have a question when I have a chance.
Go ahead. What's your question?
My question is that when the police give me the CAD information, it says here event historical detail. But that's not true, because this incident has at least 35 pages. That seems, I went there a couple of times, I asked for this and that. How do I get that information?
Okay, so Mr. Rivero, what we're doing here today, this is part one of the entire hearing. All we're here today to do is just to determine whether the documents and the records and information you requested, whether they are actually public records or not, and whether they're within our jurisdiction to be able to, for us to be able to hear them and make a determination on them. That's all we're here to do today. If we are in agreement that they are, then you'll be scheduled for a hearing before the full task force. And that is where all the merits and all the details will be discussed at that point.
Oh, sorry.
Just so you know, today is not the day that you're going to get a decision about the complaint.
But we could pose this question, though, to Lieutenant Toomey in case he knows the answer,
Sure.
which is that if you are looking for CAD records, I know you referred the petitioner to the Department of Emergency Management, but what information needs to be given to the DEM, or what information do you need to receive your CAD records? If you are given the wrong number for what those CAD records might be, what are other ways those CAD records can be found? Do you know? Like, can they be found by just the person's name and date of the calls?
From my limited interactions with the Department of Emergency Management, it's my understanding that you can provide your personal information and try to make a query to them. I think that's one of the questions that I had, and I was hoping that maybe the committee could address, is the records that the complainant is requesting, if we can determine which agency is actually responsible for them, because I don't know how one can obtain CAD information outside of a CAD number, because that's the
And the
device
CAD
that we
number
use.
is, and the CAD number, who has the CAD number?
CAD numbers are generated by the Department of Emergency Management. They are used by the police department, but the generation and the maintaining of CAD is through the Department of Emergency Management.
So if the DEM, if you're trying to get your CAD records from DEM and you need the CAD number to get those records, I don't know, that seems like a
I believe that
circular
there,
logic, like
right. I believe that there is a search ability by them. If you give them an address, a date and time of location of occurrence, type of occurrence, they could conduct a search of their system.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's it from me. Sorry, Chair Wolf, if you have more questions, please go ahead.
I have no further questions. Thank you, Mr. Rivero, and thank you, Lieutenant Toomey. The matter will be with us now to determine the status of this complaint.
Thank you. Thank you, Lieutenant. Thank you, everybody.
Sure. Member Stein, any motion coming to mind for you?
Yeah, I would make a motion that these records are public and under our jurisdiction, that there seem to still be some records outstanding. So I would like to send this to the full task force for a hearing, but I would like to make that contingent on receiving the original requests, because this is it's a little bit confusing in the file without those requests there. I don't know if that can be put on the motion, but I'd like to see this packet to be complete when it goes before the full task force and have those the actual requests in it.
Okay,
Provided by either the respondent or the petitioner. It seems like either can provide it.
Okay, let me ask a quick question of our administrator, Ms. Leger. When you were creating the description for this complaint, how did the IDR section come to light for you?
Excuse me, just trying to find my agenda. I think I did so because the sense of urgency that I understood from the petitioner.
But it wasn't based upon any document that was submitted?
I'm sorry, I don't remember it at this point, whether there was a document that stood out. My belief is that yes, there was. I can't speak to it right now.
Okay. All right, then Member Stein, I would add to the motion that we are trying to make that the disposition of the violation of the code is unclear, and until we get that original request form, we'll determine whether this is under 6721 or 6725.
Okay, so I did say that we would forward it pending receipt of the original requests. And
Yeah.
I guess I could say so that the nature of the violation can be properly identified.
That sounds good to me. So let's make sure Ms. Leger has the motion, and I'll obviously second it.
Jimmy, read it back.
Please.
Moved by Member Stein that the records of public, there is jurisdiction, and that there are records still outstanding contingent upon, in this case, contingent upon receiving those records. And they want to see the packet complete and have the requests in it, and that either party can provide that information, and that the disposition of the violation of the code is unclear until the committee receives the original request, and we'll determine if it is a 6725.
Can I just make it a lot simpler?
Yeah.
I move that the records are public under our jurisdiction, and that there are outstanding records period. That we move it to the full task force pending receipt of the original requests, so that the nature of the violation can be properly identified.
Sounds good to me.
So for this to go forward, it'd be really important to have those 3 original requests.
The R.
The R numbers, we have the R numbers, so, but you, okay, so, yeah, sure. Okay. Do you want to share?
We have yet to call public comment on this item.
Yep, we have
But-
yet to finish.
Cheryl, do you want to read it back? Just
Yeah. Moved by Member Stein, seconded by Chair Wolf, that the records of public, it falls under the task force jurisdiction, and that there are outstanding records, that we move to the task force pending receipt of the original request, so that the nature of the violation can be properly identified.
Yeah, I think that's simpler.
That's good. Okay, now we can go to public comment. This is for members of the public not party to the file.
Thank you, members of the public who would like to make comment on this item. I will unmute you and call you by your phone number. If you do not wish to speak, simply state that you will not be speaking. We currently have one listener on the line. Caller 415-599. Would you like to speak to this item?
This is Michael Petrellis. No, I do not wish to speak on this item.
Thank you so much. When your hearing is up, I will promote you to panelist. Chair Wolf, there are no other speakers on the line.
Very good. Ready for a vote? Please call the roll.
Member Stein?
Aye.
Member Stein, aye. Chair Wolf?
Aye.
Chair Wolf, aye. Member Schmidt, absent.
Let's call the next item. Thank you, parties.
Item number 5, file number 22132, complaint filed by Michael Petrellis against Supervisor Asha Safai, Board of Supervisors, for allegedly violating Administrative Code Section 67.29-5 by failing to respond to a request for Proposition G calendar in a timely and/or complete manner.
Okay, we'll have 5 minutes each for each of the parties. Let me just ask, Mr. Petrellis, is the respondent just Supervisor Safai, or is it the supervisor and the Board of Supervisors? Oh, where'd he go? Oh, he's there. Go ahead. You should be unmuted.
Hi, this is Michael Petrellis. My complaint is only against Supervisor Safai.
Okay, great. Okay, Ms. Leger, when you're ready, Mr. Petrellis, please wait for Ms. Leger and the clock. And you have 5 minutes for your presentation.
Michael, you ready to begin speaking?
Yes.
Go ahead, sir.
I was able to open the attachment that's part of your agenda today, so I could look back at the correspondence I had with Safai's office, specifically his Chief of Staff, Bill Barnes. And I see that this matter began last year. Right now, I can't remember if I made the original request in November or December, but I do not recall ever receiving Safai's calendar. And looking over the packet that should be in front of you all, there's nothing from the supervisor's office indicating he's shared his public calendar with me, and I was very displeased to see that Bill Barnes said at least once, maybe twice, in an email to Cheryl that they supposedly had turnover on staff for the person who handles sunshine requests. I wish to point out that they never name who that person was. I believe in all instances with Supervisor Safai, all the sunshine matters go through Bill Barnes. And I think that his email to Cheryl saying they had alleged turnover, staff turnover about this is bogus. That's all I'd like to say at this point.
Okay, thank you very much. Is the respondent present? Ms. Cabrera, is there anybody waiting on the line?
There's no one waiting in the attendees list.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we can still proceed without the respondent. Member Stein, any questions or?
I
I
do
think-
want to mention something, Chair Wolf, that
Yes.
when I have emailed Bill Barnes in the past regarding sunshine matters, there's usually a conflict because there's a Board of Supervisors meeting that often conflicts with task force business. And that's generally where I have found Mr. Barnes to be.
I understand that, but they should at least notify us
Yeah.
that they're not going to be present. Anybody from the office, that's more or less a requirement, if not a courtesy.
So I have a question for the petitioner. You said that you don't recall ever receiving the Prop G calendar for Supervisor Safai. Are you certain that you did not receive the documents?
Yes. While I was on hold and you were processing another complaint, I did a search of old emails, and I never got anything in response to this request. I never received any. I did not receive the Prop G calendar from Bill Barnes or anyone in Safai's office. And regarding the matter of a conflict with the Board of Supes, I do not know if right now, if they are in meeting at this hour. And even if they are, there are 4 staff people for Safai. They should be required to participate in this call. But back to your question, no, I did not receive the requested records, and I just did a search while I was on wait.
Okay, thank you. That was my only question.
Okay. Ms. Leger, did you receive any response from the respondent as to whether they had
I didn't receive anything whether they would be able to send the records later.
no,
whether they
no,
couldn't.
no,
Oh.
no. Whether they pled no contest or not.
They did not respond specifically to the affirmation letter saying that they agreed that they were late or that they didn't provide records. Is
They
that what you're
did.
referring to?
Yes, the
The
affirmation.
affirmation letter. Yeah. I didn't get a response to the affirmation letter.
Oh, you did not. Okay.
Yeah.
That was my question, is whether you got a response or not. Okay.
Oh, there's nothing from them at all in the packet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Petrellis. Member Stein?
Yeah, I mean, I would be inclined to, these are clearly public records under our jurisdiction. I would be in favor of sending this to the consent calendar to find a violation of 67.29-5, failing to respond to a Prop G calendar in a timely manner. I think it's a very clear case.
Okay. I would concur and second that motion.
That's a motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's that the records are public and under our jurisdiction, and that we send it to the consent calendar with a recommendation to find a violation of 67.295, failing to respond to a Prop G calendar in a timely manner.
Should we open it up to public comment?
Yeah.
Yes, please. Ms. Cabrera?
If there are any members of the public that would like to speak to this item, I will unmute you and call you by the area code and first 3 digits of your phone number. We currently have 0 attendees or listeners on the line.
Okay, public comment is closed. We're ready for a vote. Please call the roll.
Member Stein?
Aye.
Member Stein, aye. Chair Wolf?
Aye.
Chair Wolf, aye. Member Schmidt, absent.
Item is approved. Okay, let's move to the next item.
Item number 6, file number 22133, complaint filed by Michael Petrillis against Supervisor Dean Preston, Board of Supervisors, for allegedly violating Administrative Code Section 67.29-5 by failing to respond to a request for Prop G calendar in a timely and or complete manner.
Okay, are both parties present?
I'm here, Michael Petrellis. I'm here.
And respondent is here in person.
Respondent is here in person. Very good. Okay, Mr. Petrellis, you have 5 minutes.
You ready,
Wait for
sir?
Ms. Leger.
Are you ready, sir?
Yes, I am ready.
You may begin.
Hi, Michael Petrellis here. First of all, I have clicked on the attachment for this item in your calendar, and it doesn't open up. I don't know if you're able to look at the packet, but I hope you are, because I can't see it. I wanted to refresh my memory by what is in that attachment.
Okay, so hold
Ted.
on a second. Stop the clock, please. Mr. Petrellis, if you go to the agenda, underneath your item, it'll say Part 1 of 3, Part 2 of 3, Part 3 of 3. Each one of them are a link.
Hang on, I'm going to your agenda. I'm sorry, Bruce, what am I looking for?
So under this item, it's item number 6. It says Part 1 of 3, Part 2 of 3, Part 3 of 3, because there's so many documents.
Oh, yes, I see that. Thank you.
Okay, if you click on each one of those, they're each a link, individual links.
Thank you. It is opening Part 1 right now.
Okay, when you're ready,
And
please let Ms. Leger know that you're ready to begin again, and she'll start the clock.
please start the clock. I am ready to start again, just based on seeing that 210 pages are here, indicating, and I see that the calendar was provided to me. A very extensive calendar was provided to me, excuse me. So I believe that the issue here for me is the timeliness of when I received the records.
Does that conclude your testimony?
Yes, that concludes what I want to say.
Very good, thank you. Respondent for Supervisor Preston, you have 5 minutes. Please wait for Ms. Leger. Start the clock.
If you can spell your name so that I know. All right.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Bolin, Jenniffer Bolen. I'm a legislative aide for Supervisor Preston. Just to go over this, we received the request from Mr. Petrellis at 12:01 a.m. on October 15th. It was over the weekend, so it falls over to the Monday, which would be October 17th, meaning we had a duty to respond within 10 days on October 27th. The request was sent to the Chief of Staff, Kyle Smealy, and to Supervisor Preston himself. The Chief of Staff forwarded it to me on the 25th. I acknowledged receipt. What I didn't do was request an extension to respond. I think I had thought that I'd be able to get them the Prop G, or get Mr. Petrellis the Prop G calendar within 2 days, not realizing it would take a lot longer to go through and take out personal phone numbers or meetings with the city attorney or other sensitive information that I would need to redact. And I ended up responding on November 3rd, about a week after the deadline of October 27th. On the 25th, had I asked or invoked the extension to respond, I would have been timely. And so I'm hoping, lesson learned, and I'm hoping for some leniency on this. And I think that's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Does that conclude your testimony?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. Member Stein, any questions?
Yeah, so let's see. You mentioned that you have a 10-day response time, but what was being asked for is something that's meant to be like a publicly available calendar that, according to Prop G, or it's in the Sunshine Ordinance, it's 67.29-5A, requires that calendar be available within 3 calendar days.
okay.
So you're a little bit more outside of that. But so I just wanted to ask if you were aware of the response time for Prop G calendar being 3 days, and you are.
I wasn't aware of that until a different request from Mr. Trellis came in recently with the 3-day deadline. And I asked for an extension of time, knowing that it takes longer to give that, just to remove in our calendar. We add in telephone numbers and other identifying information, so it's easier for us to know. So I was made aware of that after the fact.
Okay.
I am aware of it now.
And you already have acknowledged in your response that that your response with the Prop G documents was late.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks. That's all from me.
Okay, I have no further questions at this time. Thank you, Ms. Boland. Can step away from the podium. It's up to us now to figure out what to do.
So I do have a question for you,
Sure.
Chair Wolf. So I'm wondering, the Prop G calendar, when I read it, I assume that there's sort of a special calendar being kept for the public that can just be easily provided. But I feel like over and over again, we have people who are having to do, different agencies are having to do, major redactions of phone numbers and other information they consider sensitive. Is there supposed to be a separate calendar kept, or is there something that they should be doing to make these calendars easily available within 3 days?
Right. So this is really a matter of how each person manages their calendar. What was happening in the past was that they would combine both their quote unquote public calendar with their personal calendar, and then they would have to redact the personal calendar items because they don't apply. So that started a new movement to have 2 separate calendars, one for personal and one would be the public Prop G calendar. Now, the question is if there were items in it that needed to be redacted. Now that it should be a kind of a decision made upon the producer of the calendar, whether that information should be in there or not. If it's going to cause the record not to be available within the required time, then there sounds like, as you're suggesting, be an adjustment to that procedure. Because it does take a long time to do that. Plus, and this is for Ms. Boland's benefit, anytime there's a redaction, there has to be a code key for each and every redaction as to why, kind of under what law are you allowed to redact. So if you, for this many days or months or years of calendar, you had to do, dozens, if not hundreds of redactions, then that would be a quite extensive key. So I agree with you, Member Stein. It's supposed to be made public enough so that it can be pretty much instantly produced, if not be posted somewhere, right? And I'll stop there.
Okay, yeah, I just wondered because 8 months of calendar entries, if you have to do redactions, I don't see how it can be done in 3 days, but that is the law. Yes. So
So I understand what Ms. Boland was saying, that it's a lot easier to have the information, all in the calendar entry. But this is what happens. And if you're going to redact, then there has to be that key, because if there's some question as to whether the redaction was correct or not, there has to be some reference. Okay, so timeliness, that's what this is about.
yeah. So I mean, I think this is another case that could just go to the consent calendar, because it's public records under our jurisdiction. I think there's, a simple violation of timeliness under 67.29-5, failing to provide the Prop G calendar in a timely manner.
I agree.
So I will make that motion that we just send it to the consent calendar, particularly since all the documents have been provided.
And I'll second that. And I'll just say in general that, trying to figure this out, it may take a little bit of gymnastics. And I'm not sure I have a cogent suggestion or answer for that. Deal with this issue.
That was your motion.
That was my motion, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to read it back?
Moved by Member Stein to send the matter to the consent calendar and acknowledge the violation of timeliness under 67.29-5, failure to timely provide.
Failure to provide a Prop G calendar in a timely manner.
And I second it.
Do we want to open it for public comment?
Yes. Ms. Cabrera?
Thank you. Are there any members of the public that would like to speak to this item? Currently, there are 0 attendees.
And no one in the chambers?
No.
Very
Just
good.
respondent.
Okay, public comment is closed. We're ready for a vote. Please call.
Member Stein?
Aye.
Member Stein, aye. Member Wolf?
Aye.
Or Chair Wolf, rather. Member Schmidt, absent.
It's approved. Thank you,
This
parties.
is Michael Petrellis. I was unable to make general public comment before, and I'm asking if I could have a minute and a half to make some general public comment now, please.
This was due to technical difficulties, right?
Yeah. Yes. So let's reopen.
Right, due to technical difficulties, yes.
Please, we'll go ahead and reopen public comment. And this will be in general for everyone at this point, whoever's attending. So we're going to reopen.
Thank you.
So hold on a second. Let me just
Okay.
get it right for the record here. Okay. We're going to I'm going to allow public comment item number 3 to be reopened, and I'm going to hand it to Ms. Cabrera to make the preamble and to run the clock and call on speakers.
Thank you, Chair Wolf. Are there any members of the public that would like to address the committee on matters that are within the committee's jurisdiction but not on today's agenda? We will be unmuting all participants and calling you by your area code and the first 3 digits of your phone number. We currently have 0 attendees in the queue. So then we will go to caller
You have
41.
one.
We
you
do
have-
have. Yes, Mr. Petrellis, and I will defer to Ms. Leisure to run the clock in the room.
Ms. Petrellis, are you ready to begin?
Yes, I am.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you for reopening public comment because of technical difficulties. I wish to ask that this body have only one way of remote participation, and that it be by phoning in. I have had difficulties with WebEx, with this task force and with other city bodies, and I find it's just impossible to get around the glitches with the WebEx. And even though today I wasn't recognized when I hit *3 to make public comment, I have been able to call into this meeting. So I ask that you please consider only having folks call in on the telephone to participate. The second matter I want to address is I very much appreciate the clarification by Member Stein about Prop G calendars. They're to be maintained, and then if the public requests them, they are to be turned over in 3 days. There's been a question about this matter with Wilson Ang, who the supervisors and their staffs turn to Wilson in the clerk's office for advice when I've made these requests. And I have argued that if a meeting happened on Monday, it gets entered in on the calendar. And if I come along on Friday and make that request, it's been more than 3 days since the meeting happened. And that means the public record should be released. I wish to also say on the record that Raphael Mandelman's office understands this, and that they are really the best office of the supervisors, that when I make these requests for the calendars, Mandelman's office does a turnaround within 3 days. They are very good about adhering to that section of the law. That's all I'd like to say.
Any other public comment? Is there
No
anybody?
speakers.
No others. Okay, thank you. Public comment is closed. Please call the next item, Ms. Leger.
Item number 9, announcements, comments, questions, and future agenda items by members of the Complaint Committee.
Member Stein, anything?
I don't have anything at this time.
Neither do I. There's no public comment because nothing was introduced here. Let's move to the next item. Ms. Leger.
Item number 10, adjournment. I have 7:13.
Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Did you make a motion to adjourn? Are you asking for one?
I'm asking.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And I'll second. All those in favor say aye.
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 We adjourn 7:13. Thank you very much.
Shortest task force meeting I've ever been to.